gloom of night will keep them away from Metulski Field in Marion tonight because it's the Holy War. It's Michiana's big Catholic rivalry. The 2-0 Marion Knights take on the 0-2 St. Joe Indians on this edition of the 46th Game of the Week. And how you doing, everybody, with my Hall of Fame partners, Bo Hunt, and, well, look who's back. Hey, season started 2 weeks ago. Thanks for showing up, Bob Nangle.
Well, I couldn't lift this microphone last week, so now I'm ready to go.
We're happy to have you back. I know a lot of people out there have been concerned for you. Glad to see you here on the sidelines with us.
Great to be here, especially in a week like this.
No question about it. Now, the St. Joe Indians are happy for a week like this because even though they're 0-2, this is certainly the kind of matchup that'll give them some energy going on the field tonight.
Well, they certainly have a lot to be excited about when you look at John Driscoll and what he can do. They've got some good wideouts. If they can get him the ball, it's going to be big. They're going to have to make a change of quarterback tonight. Eck is not able to go, and so they're going to have people step up. But it's early in the season. Everybody needs that. But as you said, knowing that they're going to play Marion this week, Coach has had a great attitude all week, and he's got his Indians ready to play.
The morale has been good. We had a good week of practice, efficient, focused week of practice. In a game like this, it doesn't really matter what the records are. You can throw those out the window. It's going to be a very emotional game, and it's going to be a hard-fought game. And like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun.
The Marion Knights come in. They're 2-0. They're ranked 6th in the state of Indiana. They've got offense scoring 50 points a game, and defense giving up only 3.5. They look like a juggernaut, but then you look at who they've played, and the question comes up, has the competition been good enough to test the Knights?
Well, it hasn't been as good as what St. Joe has gone against, but again, you're finding answers to questions you had before the season. Mike Davidson had some holes to fill on defense. He's had Maddox Begunia step up, do a nice job at quarterback. He's got a running back, Tyler DeBow, who's a good player. I think he's got a nice group. They're number 6 in the state because they've got respect from other teams around the country. But, Mike Davidson played here at Marion. His dad and his uncle played here at Marion back in my day. And so he knows what this game is about tonight. No problem getting anybody up for this one.
Absolutely. Kids had a great week of practice. We want to have that great week of practice show up on Fridays. And it comes back to execution. Had a nice week last week. It showed up on Friday night. We look to do the same tonight.
Bo Hunt on the sidelines tonight with us. And Bo, we could have been a lot of places tonight. Niles and St. Joe playing for the 100th time. Warsaw and Plymouth playing for the 100th time. Instead, we're here because, well, there's something about this rivalry that is really tough to kind of put into words, but that's your challenge right now. Put it into words.
Well, I think one of the biggest things coming to this game is you always get up for games, but you've known these people since grade school. You've played against these guys. You've gone to church with these fellows across the way, and it's like playing your brother. And when you go against your brother, you always step it up just a little bit more. You always have just that little bit more excitement, a little bit more edge, just a little bit more grind where you want to win. And so that intensity is going to be out here, especially in this game.
It is the kind of night where the collars get a little tight, and that's just the priests on the sidelines. We've got the Jordan Automotive Keys to Win coming your way next on the 46th Game of the Week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by South Bend Orthopedics, Teachers Credit Union, Bill's Heating, Jordan Automotive Group, IU South Bend, Electrical Workers Local 153, Crown Trophy, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
And this edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Jordan Auto Group, where it's simple, easy, and stress-free. Welcome, everybody, to the Trademark Irrigation pregame show as we get you ready for the Holy War, the 59th meeting between Marion and St. Joe. Time now to look at our keys to win, brought to you by the aforementioned Jordan Auto Group. And for the St. Joe Indians, they want to get the ball into the hands of at least 2 of the triplets, if not 3. John Driscoll is the leading receiver not only on the Indians, but in the state of Indiana. He has made 20 catches so far this season. He is also a dangerous runner, averaging 5 yards a carry. And he gets some help on the outside from his brother Patrick Driscoll, 10 10 catches, 161 yards. Patrick also the leading tackler on the St. Joe defense. The keys to win for Brian Witten and the Indians.
Well, no question, Chuck, after the start of the season at 0-2, they need to start quickly here tonight. They need to win the third down, not only on offense, but on defense. They need to get off the field and get their offense hands on the ball. They got to create havoc and turnovers against the Marion Knights, and who knows, the weather might be a factor in that area tonight. Head coach Brian Witten, 14-20 in his fourth season now at St. Joe.
For the Marion Knights, the offense is really directed by the quarterback, Maddox Begonia, 6'3", 167 pounds, and a junior. He won the job in preseason camp, and he has shown that he earned it so far. 148 passing yards on 17 of 26, but he's also run the ball for 87 yards and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, on defense, Thomas Ewing, the leading tackler on a very balanced defense. Ewing, a 6'2", 202-pound linebacker, also can be an effective weapon at tight end. The keys to win for Mike Davidson's Knights.
They need to minimize penalties, and again, they've had a couple of fairly easy victories so far. Got to be much more focused tonight. Got to eliminate turnovers. Just can't let that happen. Let it be a factor, and they've got to be more physical than St. Joe tonight. And the more physical team in the trenches, especially, will be a big difference. Michael Davidson's now in his second season at Marion. He's off to a great start at 10-5 coming into tonight's action.
The legendary priest, Father Walter Bly, many years ago, handed us a typewritten sheet with the results of every St. Joe Marion game on it, so we feel very accurate in giving you the series history here, which is 35-23 in favor of St. Joe. The first meeting back in 1967. Last year, the second one-point decision in a row. This one went to the Indians by a count of 7-6. And the weather tonight brought to us by our friends at Bub Funeral Chapel. It's very autumnal, let's put it that way. 66 degrees, the wind off the northwest at 14, giving us, well, some lake effect rain that's been falling all afternoon and evening. It's not hard, but it could make the field, despite the huge crowd out here on a Tulski field, very wet.
And the field's in very good shape, by the way. It's early in the season, so it should be, but we got a good field here tonight. Natural grass, and not happening as much as it used to around the area, but this is a good field ready to go as St. Joe and Marion get ready to do battle. And St. Joe in their road white jerseys, white helmets, black pants. Marion in their home blues with silver helmets, and we're ready to go. The Holy War, here's a call to action tonight. My partner, Chuck Freeby.
Alejandro Rios does the kicking for St. Joe. Davion Taylor, the deep man for Marion. The opening kickoff sponsored by Trademark Irrigation, and the first quarter brought to us by our friends at Marion High School. Toe meets leather, and the Holy War is underway with a spinning kick taken by Mitchell Florin at the 17, and Florin with room to run takes it all on the outside up to the 40-yard line. So the up back gets the job done for the Marion Knights, and they will have excellent field position to start the ball game tonight. As you take a look at Maddox Begonia, the 6'3", 167-pound junior. He tore his meniscus as a freshman, has come back with a vengeance, was a wide receiver last year, now the quarterback of this very diverse Marion attack. And we'll see how Brett Badek, the offensive coordinator, plays it tonight. He's got one back in the backfield. That's Malcolm Anderson next to him. And as you see, 3 wideouts to the left. High snap, Begonia wants to throw, has time and throws out in the flat and completes it out there as he found his tight end Thomas Ewing for his second catch of the year. And we look at the Marion offense. Aside from Begonia, you've got Malcolm Anderson, one of the top ball carriers. Tyler DeBow, very steady, nice receivers. Florin's been the favorite target so far. And up front, Alec Mishler, not only a 3-year starter, but an all-conference selection last year. That offensive line, though, a little bit banged up coming into this one. Injuries this week to both Aaron Fuller and Miguel Ortiz, the guards. Call it a pickup of 2 on that first down play. It's 2nd and 8. Begonia wants to throw again. He's going to air it out deep, and pass interference flag is thrown by the back judge. All kinds of contact back there by the St. Joe defensive backs, and pass interference will be a 15-yard penalty and a Marion first down, sponsored by Trek 10 as you get another look.
You got double team downfield, both players making contact along the way, and I guess you don't want to give up a big one, so you take the penalty, and that's going to be less yardage than would have been with a completion.
Steve Jovanovich is the man with the white hat making the call. He's joined tonight by Ben Baker, Ryan Labus, Oscar Rios, and Robert Schub. They come to us from the area known as the Region. So it's a first down into St. Joe territory up to the 43-yard line. As we mentioned, the first downs tonight sponsored by our friends at Trek 10. Malcolm Anderson lined up behind Maddox Begonia. And it's Anderson on the handoff with lots of room on the left side. Look at him go. He's gone. Touchdown, Marion. Malcolm Anderson with a 43-yard touchdown run, but there is a flag at the 40-yard line, and this one is coming back.
Boy, he really exploded around the end, and of course there could be a reason for that. And it was held. And
we'll see if we can see it on the SBO replay. Holding called against Marion, and let's see if we can pick it up here on the end as the receiver had his hands outside of Walter Wesson, the cornerback, and that might have been where the call was made. So a 10-yard holding penalty. But it takes points off the board for the Marion Knights.
It's a net 5 yards on the penalty because it was called 5 yards downfield. But again, it winds up erasing a touchdown.
1st and 17. Begonia tries to keep himself and slips on the wet turf for a loss of 4 or 5. Let's take a look at the St. Joe defense, brought to us by our friends at Tom's Car Care. Johnny Scott and Kenzel Kelly, a couple of quality defensive ends. Patrick Driscoll, the leading tackler on the team. His brother Ryan Driscoll having a very solid year at linebacker as well. So it'll be 2nd down and 21, and this is not necessarily a Marion offense. In the past, Bob, if Marion had 2nd and 21, that was an utter disaster because out of the triple option that Reggie Glahn would run, it wasn't likely to be made up. The way Brett Badek likes to throw it around for Mike Davidson's team, it can be made up. And Begonia's got an open receiver and intercepted by Patrick Driscoll. Begonia kind of dropped his elbow as he delivered the football, and Patrick Driscoll makes the pick.
Well, we mentioned in our pregame keys to win. You got to limit the turnovers or eliminate them altogether. There's the first one here, and we've not played 2 minutes.
And that is the first turnover that St. Joe's defense has created all season. They went through the first 2 games without one. So they'll get it at the midfield stripe with Evan Price at quarterback. Price gets the start tonight as Matt X sits out with a concussion. But Price has had a lot of time in the lineup. He's 24 for 41, 276 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they'll go with an empty backfield. Driscoll in motion now, and it's Driscoll on the jet sweep, and they were waiting for him out there. A lot of blue jerseys, and Driscoll is going to be stopped for about a 5-yard loss.
Took a little while to get to the corner, and by the time he got there, he had a lot of company, so went out of bounds, avoided taking a hit. It's going to be lost in the play of about 5 yards.
Here's the Marion defense. You've got Isaac Hibbs, who's a rock-solid defender. Miguel Ortiz, an all-conference selection. Thomas Ewing, the leading tackler, as we told you. And then Michael Schnippel has done a great job creating turnovers. He was all-conference last year. He's already got 2 interceptions this season. Make it a loss of 6 on the play for Driscoll, and it'll be second. Well, they're calling it 15 on the scoreboard. Price pumps, now keeps it himself on a quarterback draw, and he got maybe a yard, and that's about it. Because Thomas Ewing was waiting for him, even though Ewing comes up a little hobbled. Let's meet the St. Joe offense, brought to you by our friends at Tom's Car Care. Evan Price at quarterback. We told you about John Driscoll. John Underly, an underrated fullback. Luke Leonard, a versatile tight end, can also be their backup quarterback. And then you got the 3-sport athlete Will Faulkner in there at center to help anchor that line. 3rd and 16 for the Indians. Price loses the football, and Marion's on it. It's Anthony Roberts who pounces on the loose change. The center quarterback exchange foils the Indians, and Marion will take over in St. Joe territory. Price was looking to hand it off before he caught it, and Roberts just fell that 353-pound body right on it.
Once he got on, it wasn't going anywhere. Marion Knights basically get the ball about where they were when they turned it over themselves.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the St. Joe 44-yard line. So one turnover on each side on this very misty night in Mishawaka. Marion came out throwing on that first drive. Let's see if they go back to the ground attack here. Begonia throws out in the flat over the head of Mitchell Florin. That's an incomplete pass. It was a forward pass, and so it'll be 2nd and 10. While Maddox Begonia has been very accurate throwing the football in games so far this year, 17 of 26 coming in, Bob, you and I were both at practice this week, and we both noticed that he tends to drop his elbow a little bit when he's throwing the football, and when you do that as a quarterback, it can make for some wild deliveries.
You can have some different release points every time, especially when you're rolling out like he was on the last play.
So now the standstill in the backfield, and coming in to shut the door is the St. Joe defense. That time leading the charge was Evan Lindsay, the senior nose guard. Loss of 4 on the play. It's 3rd and 14. And both of these offenses spent too much time watching the Bears and Packers last night, apparently.
Well, each team with a turnover early, and both teams with their defenses looking better than their offenses right now.
3rd and 14. Thomas Ewing, the tight end, split really wide to the left here. St. Joe coming on a blitz. It got picked up. Now Begonia's in trouble. Rolls, throws, and he threw it right into the hands of Brian Witten, the St. Joe head coach.
Good hands, coach. Nice job.
Brian, not necessarily known as a receiver back in his playing days, but he'll take that one.
Begonia now 1 out of 4 start the ball game with an interception. So the conditions obviously having an effect on both teams.
Here's an area where Marion feels like it may have a big advantage tonight. They have an all-state punter in Hunter Renner. Renner averages 36 yards a kick this year. He's also the keeper on the Marion soccer team, and he hangs one into the Mishawaka gloom. It'll take a St. Joe bounce and actually picked up there by St. Joe and returned to the 25-yard line. Gutty little play there by the Indians as Luke Leonard made the snare, and with 8:19 to go in the first quarter, no score in the Holy War on 46. Game of the week being brought to you in part by TCU. Learn as you grow with TCUnet.com. By the way, that Marion punt was sponsored by Intune DJ. Chuck Freeby, Bob Dingle, and Bo Hunt back with you from Atulski Field in Mishawaka. No score. Early first quarter. John Driscoll on the run for St. Joe, trying to run over some people. Gets knocked out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. Pick up a 3 on the play for Driscoll, who last year ran the ball for 925 yards. But, Bob, that was deceiving because we saw him in the first 5 weeks of the season. He was lights out. Then he got banged up and didn't put together a whole lot of yardage the last 4 weeks of the season.
No question about it. He was not 100%, still gave it a good effort. He's a tough kid, and talked to him before the ball game. I said, how much did growing up with twin brothers or triplet brothers help you? Oh, we made each other tough.
Price barely was able to stand up. Then he delivered to John Underley, and the tackle made by Marion's Tyler DeBow after a pickup of just 2 on the play. St. Joe looking at 3rd and 6, but I think they felt fortunate that Evan Price was even able to get that pass off. We'll go to Bo Hunt in a moment for a Bills Heating sideline report, because I think it's clear one thing in the early going. We're seeing some slippery conditions down there, Bo.
Yeah, definitely are. I think that's one of the things we talked about before the game. We were sitting around, and I actually made the comment, I didn't think it'd be too slippery out here because there hasn't been a lot of rain, and the cleats should be digging in. A lot of them are cutting off their wrong foot, and when you cut off that inside foot, you can't get traction, and the wetness of the grass is going to make an effect of their cuts, guys.
Price throws too far for Driscoll. The pass broken up beautifully that time by Michael Schaefer. It'll be 4th down and a punting situation for St. Joe. And St. Joe will turn to Charlie Peterson to do the punting. It's sponsored by Trademark Irrigation. Peterson averaging 45 yards a kick on his 2 kicks since taking over the punting spot from Jacob Deal last week. 2 deep men for the Knights. Peterson with a high hanger that's taken back at the 34-yard line. And there's room for Greg Atkinson to run. He cuts inside. Atkinson still on his feet. Atkinson all the way down to the 30-yard line. Big play on special teams for Marion, a 36-yard return. You catch another look on the SBO replay. Good blocking over on the right side gave Atkinson a lot of room to go on the left. And then Bo talked about cutting on the proper foot. Well, Atkinson did.
Sure did. And boy, he had a lot of momentum when he cut back. Too quick for any of the St. Joe defenders to get a piece of him.
So again, terrific field position for Mike Davidson's offense. Begonia will keep it on the quarterback option, and he's got a little bit of room on the right side. Begonia turns the corner. Begonia says bye-bye. Touchdown, Marion. Flag on the play, though, back at the 28 and 25, and this one will come back as well. The 2nd touchdown called back on Marion in the 1st quarter.
Looked like it might have been a clip or a chop block. Somebody went down low, and the official threw the flag right in. Well, I tell you what, the 2 biggest plays of the game, 3 biggest plays. The first kickoff return for Marion out to the 40. Then the pass interference really changed the field position and has kept it in the St. Joe end. And now a punt return is able to get it back to the best position they've had. But, boy, you just keep making mistakes.
5-yard penalty called. It's actually a block in the back. It was downfield, so it's a 10-yard penalty, but it'll set up 1st and 15. And penalties, and we have another one here, a false start. Penalties have been a huge problem for both of these teams in the early going. Marion had 14 penalties in its opener against Clay this year. St. Joe has had 18 penalties in its first 2 games. And let's see if I didn't see where the flinching was, but the officials clearly did because they threw the flag right away.
You get those striped shirts on, that allows them to throw flags.
Begonia to Florin in the flat. Florin gets a good block, kicks to the outside, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So back to the original line of scrimmage where all this started, and it'll be 2nd and 10. Mitchell Florin has been the leading receiver for the Knights this year. That's his 9th catch of the season.
2 out of 5 now on the night for Begonia.
Marion trying to go with a little tempo here on offense. And the signal call looks like it may have drawn somebody off sides from St. Joe. It'll be an encroachment penalty on the nose tackle, Tom Zwiller, it appears. So a 5-yard penalty against the Indians will make it 2nd and 5 from the St. Joe 25.
2 penalties on St. Joe for 20 yards. Marion with 3 penalties for 25.
They'll go with a 4-receiver set this time. Anderson, the lone back in the backfield. Begonia takes the high snap, but he's in trouble, and Zwiller gets his revenge. An 8-yard loss for Begonia, but that was thrown off by the high snap.
Timing could be everything. That's 12 yards and losses on 2 carries now for Begonia.
Watch the big 6'2", 225-pound senior Zwiller just peel off his block and then shows some speed as he goes after Begonia. They'll spot it at the 32. It's 3rd and 12. A defensive struggle so far. Let's see if Marion can make a big offensive play. St. Joe showing blitz. Begonia tries to go up the middle, drags the tackler with them up to the 27, but that's where he's brought down by Luke Leonard. Decision time now for Mike Davidson. He's got a pretty good kicker in Hunter Renner, who's capable of hitting from 44, and they'll send him out there. Renner is 1 for 1 in field goals this year. He hit a 28-yarder against Clay. Now, in wet conditions, they're going to ask him to kick a 45-yarder into the wind slightly. Or at least that's what it appears. St. Joe kind of worried about the fake here. In Tune DJ sponsors the kick. It's on its way, spinning to the crossbar and short. So Renner couldn't quite put that one through, and St. Joe is able to hold on downs with 4:48 to go first quarter.
Had a lot of plays and a lot of offense, but not much as far as total yards. That was a pretty good kick. Again, into the wind a little bit. Came down, what's that? I'm going to say about 5 yards short.
Indeed. He caught it a little fat. When you were playing golf, you would remember that feeling.
Absolutely.
So St. Joe will have it 1st and 10 on the 20. But remember, Marion has had 2 touchdowns wiped off the board in this game with penalties. Now we have to see if St. Joe's offense can generate any kind of rhythm here. They have not had a first down as of yet. The snap to Evan Price, I'm not sure he was expecting it, but it came, and Asante Anglin runs the football. Anglin has been averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and this sprinter and long jumper from Mike McCarthy's track team picks up 7 yards on the pickup.
Anytime you give it to anybody but Driscoll, you're going to surprise the defense from Marion.
Take a look at Mike Davidson down on that Marion sideline. His 2nd season as the head coach, the former defensive coordinator under Reggie Glahn. In his 52 games as defensive coordinator, 24 times the opponent scored 10 or less. So he is used to seeing good performances out of his defense. Price keeps it himself. That was a mistake. Isaac Hibbs was right there waiting for him, and it's a loss of 1. Hibbs has been the leading tackler on this Marion defense so far along the front line this year, Bob.
Both defenses very effective so far. The 2 quarterbacks, Begonia's on 3 carries is at -7 yards, and St. Joe's quarterback on 2 carries is at 0 yards.
So it'll be 3rd and 5. Price in trouble, lost the football, and does Marion have it? They do. We have not seen an official signal yet. Now we do. It's Marion football. Miguel Ortiz got the recovery. You'll get another look from SBO Orthopedics. Isaac Hibbs stripped it away, and then Ortiz got on the loose change for the 10th turnover created by the Marion defense this season.
A big thank you going out to Hacienda Mexican Restaurants for supporting high school athletics. It's football season, and Hacienda is a great place to watch any game. Bring your friends in for their famous ranch and wet burritos. Hacienda's 100 centers have been serving the community for over 40 years. We want to thank you for your continued support.
Begonia will keep it himself, throw out in the flat and over the head of Colin Kerr, and it'll be incomplete, 2nd and 10. The Crew seem to enjoy the spread from Hacienda tonight.
Oh, how could you not?
Marion has had terrific field position throughout in this one, but they've yet to be able to turn it into points. We'll see if they can here as you see Brian Witten, the 4th-year head coach of the Indians. Over on the other side, a Penn and Earlham grad. The beard is new this year. I wonder if he'll keep it if they win.
Absolutely.
On 2nd and 10, the handoff to Malcolm Anderson. He stopped to try to make the cut, and that was all Patrick Driscoll needed to make the tackle. A very sure tackle by one of the Driscoll triplets after a pickup of about 4.
Imagineering Finishing Technologies is celebrating 60 years as the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. 60 years of serving the automotive, medical, aerospace, and military and defense industries. Go to iftworldwide.com for more information. Like the teams in tonight's game, they're working toward a great finish.
On 3rd and 7, Begonia from the gun. looks left, fires, and has his man, Thomas Ewing. Well, it's not Ewing, it's the receiver on the outside. That's Eddie Murphy, the tight end. Murphy with the grab down to the 1st and goal at the 2. So Murphy makes his 2nd catch of the year and almost took that one into the end zone. He gets a 1st down, sponsored by Trek 10.
Gain of 15 yards on the play.
That is the first down for either team that wasn't the result of a penalty. Begonia keeps it himself into the end zone behind Alec Mishler for a touchdown, sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences, and the Marion Knights are on the board first. You've got a 3-year All-NIC starter in Alec Mishler at center. Why wouldn't you go behind him? And that's exactly what they do. Begonia with his 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
Well, sometimes you talk about field position, Chuck. Marion started at their own 40. That was their worst start. They started at the St. Joe 44, the St. Joe 30, and this drive started at the St. Joe 20.
So Hunter Renner is 6 of 7 on PATs so far this season. The snap is clean. The set is good. The kick points off the upright, no good. There is a flag on the play, and we'll see who it's against. It's against Marion, so it'll be declined, and the failed extra point leaves it at 6-0 Marion.
Our thanks to the team from St. Andrews Products for making our crew look so good tonight. They can do the same for your school or corporation. Give them a call, 800-628-9922, or check out their email at sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
The missed extra point by Hunter Renner perhaps brings back a bad flashback for the Marion Knights as you take another look at the touchdown by Begonia, because a year ago Marion lost the game 7-6, and it was because of their inability to convert on the extra point kick that game wound up being lost. So we'll see how large this looms here tonight. Still a long way to go, obviously, with 2:07 left in the first quarter.
To say it was starting to feel like a 7-6 final score, the way they were going back and forth without being successful in getting in the end zone. But a nice pass by Begonia and then a 2-yard run.
John Driscoll and Asante Anglin, the deep men for St. Joe. The kickoff sponsored by In Tune DJ, and this one hurtles towards the goal line. Driscoll will take it just inside the stripe. Driscoll looking for some running room, and there's none to be found. He's tackled at about the 15-yard line. He would have been better off to let it go into the end zone.
Probably would have been, or it might have gone even out of bounds. But when you get it down in the corner like that, you take away a lot of the absence for the return man.
So a well-placed kick that time by Hunter Renner. Looked like Esau Gonzalez on the stop that time for Marion. And again, bad field position for St. Joe, looking at 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line.
You run the 2-minute drill when you get 2 minutes to go in the quarter?
Not
Probably
the first.
Not.
No.
Probably not.
Evan Price at quarterback for St. Joe. Member of John Gump's baseball program. He surveys the situation, hands it off to one of his running backs, but there's no room to run there as Eddie Murphy and the rest of that Marion defense, along with Miguel Ortiz, shut it down. Pick up maybe 2 on the play for John Driscoll.
He is going to be the focus of every offensive play for St. Joe. He's right now got 3 carries for -1 total yards in this ball game. McDonald Physical Therapy is proud to have Michiana's top physical therapist, known for quality of care and patient focus. Remember McDonald Physical Therapy when you need to get back in the game.
Price fires, it's complete, and the tackle made immediately by Greg Atkinson on Patrick Driscoll will pick up a 4 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 4. Driscoll with 10 catches on the season coming into this one. He is a sectional track champion in the 4x400 relay. So Price and the Indians trying to get their first down of the night. They're looking at 3rd and 4. Handoff will be to John Underly, and he's met rudely by Thomas Ewing and Tyler DeBow and didn't get anywhere close to the first down marker.
Ooh, and that could be a penalty there. Somebody from St. Joe gave Marion player a shot after the whistle.
Don't see any flag thrown. They'll mark it at the 19. But you see the very physical hit that time by Tyler DeBow. Not the biggest kid out there at 5'6", but he's not backing down from anybody. And so now we've got a whistle and a clock stoppage with 13.9 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Time for maybe another play here in this quarter. I want to tell you folks that the caring and experienced professionals at Bubb Funeral Chapel offer a range of personalized services. For more information, give them a call, 255-3126, or visit them at bubbfuneralchapel.com.
Not exactly sure what the discussion is about. Mike Davidson looking up towards the press box as though there might be a problem with the clock. The clock said 13.9, now it says 25 seconds. We'll take advantage of the dead ball to thank another one of our sponsors.
There you go. Folks committed to faith, character, and excellence since 1953, St. Joseph High School offers unparalleled opportunities in academics, athletics, and the arts. Discover a school that is welcoming, positive, joyful, supportive, and inclusive. Discover St. Joe. Learn more at stjoehigh.com.
St. Joe looking at a 4th and 1 right now. Marion trying to get the right personnel on the field. Charlie Peterson is lined up in punt formation. He does not have to kick it. The play clock started just shortly after the game clock did, which means that they can run out the final 25 seconds of the first quarter. And that would appear as though that's what the Indians are going to do, because Peterson still stands there with hands akimbo and now heads to the sideline. So the first quarter is in the books at Tulski Field in Mishawaka. Emotions always run high in the Holy War. This one is no different. But the silver and blue of Marion have a 6-0 lead going to the second on 46.
In the office this afternoon.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you by Indiana University South Bend, fulfilling the promise. We go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report. Bo Hunt, not only your thoughts on the first quarter, but how the weather is still impacting this football game.
I think one of the biggest things I'm kind of surprised at is how much passing's been done in that first quarter out of both teams. Really surprised to see that with the way the weather is. It has stopped raining down here. It's not going to dry up because of how cold it is out here. It's still going to be wet throughout the whole rest of the game. But I'm kind of a little bit of shock, too, that the Marion's running attack isn't going up the field. What St. Joe's doing is they're really trying to contain the outside and not let them get to the outside. So they got ends, linebackers, and everything hitting that back, or those outside corners, not letting Marion get to the outside. Guys?
Peterson places the kick very well that time. The line of scrimmage was the 24, goes out of bounds at the 40, so a 36-yard kick with no return by the St. Joe punter. But again, Marion will start with idyllic field position at their own 41-yard line, and really their own 40 after the opening kickoff is the worst field position that Marion has had in this entire football game.
Playing a lot of football on the St. Joe end, and that's made it tough on the Indians. Folks, since 1882, the Knights of Columbus have been protecting Catholic families and promoting Catholic values through their faith-based insurance and retirement planning programs. They donate their profits to charity and vow never to make investments that run contrary to church teaching. To learn more, call Andrew Weiss at 574-272-6929 or look for him online at andrewweisskfc.com.
Well, Maddox Begonia ran into his own man, and then Tom Zwiller ran into Maddox Begonia well behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 4. You get another look on the SBO replay. It's not good when your own halfback puts you in a headlock.
Well, you had to tackle somebody. Begonia had finally gotten into positive territory. Now he goes back to the negative numbers at -3 so far tonight on his 5 carries.
2nd and 13. Begonia from the gun. Runs out of there. Up the middle of the field. Spins and goes forward to about the 47-yard line. It's a pickup of 10 on the play for the very mobile Marion quarterback. And it'll set up a 3rd and 3.
Boy, that had a chance to be a really big breaking play, but one of the guys ahead of Begonia here doesn't throw a block.
And it was Zwiller again who made the tackle. We have called the nose guard's name a lot tonight. That's a good sign for St. Joe, because in previous St. Joe games, they'd been getting a lot of tackles from their secondary. So it's 3rd and 4. St. Joe coming on a blitz. Marion gets to the outside, but Malcolm Anderson can't get the first down. He's spun down by Patrick Driscoll after a pickup of 2. 4th down decision time for Mike Davidson.
You got to keep playing that field position game. They've been so successful with that so far tonight. Let's see if they don't try to pin St. Joe back deep.
Indeed, you'll see Hunter Renner, the punter, come on for a punt sponsored by Intune DJ. And why not? You've got to have a lot of confidence in your defense right now. If you're Marion, you have not given up a first down all night.
You've got an all-state kicker. Somewhere at the end of the game, you got to be able to say we took good advantage of one of our best weapons.
Asante Anglin is the deep man. That snap bounces to Renner, and now he's in trouble. Going to try to rugby punt it. No, he's tackled at the 43-yard line. Big play for St. Joe on special teams. Zach Kennedy made the stop behind the line of scrimmage after the snap bounced to Renner, and when he looked up, he dropped it and couldn't punt it.
Again, there's conditions. Bo Hunt talked about it down there, and what an effect that could have on the ball game.
Now, Renner is a soccer keeper, so he's used to handling the ball, and he's used to having to kick it under adversity. But that time it didn't happen, and it's 1st and 10 for St. Joe from the Marion 43. For St. Joe, its best field position of the night.
Loss on the play of about 8 yards.
It won't go down as a turnover, but it certainly feels like one.
St. Joe is looking for a way to turn that field position. They've got an opportunity.
Price looks, fires too high, and it's incomplete. He wanted Patrick Driscoll. He had to get rid of it in a hurry because the pressure was coming.
Trademark Irrigation offers full-service lawn sprinkler installation and maintenance. They're fully insured and bonded, and their knowledgeable staff can talk through all options and answer your questions. Call them at 574-251-1520 or find them online at trademarkirrigation.com. And they want to give a good shout out to the Driscoll brothers who play for the St. Joe Indians.
The Driscoll brothers trying to pay tribute to their late father who died of a brain tumor in 2002. It would have been his birthday today. Price throws and completes the pass to Asante Anglin, who lost the football going down. They're going to say he was down, and I believe that's the right call. It was the ground that caused the fumble at the 41-yard line, and it'll be a 3rd and 8. You'll get another look here from SBO replay, and you make the call at home as well. Watch the knee. Oh, it's down well before he loses the football.
Got hammered into the turf.
Marion's been hitting hard, and I know we were all talking before the game. You watch a team come out to warm up, and you have to remember, Marion's a 3A school. I know I've used the expression a few times this year, but they do. They've got some meat on the hoof.
Big fellas.
And a timeout called by St. Joe. It's sponsored by Frick's Dairy Queen in South Bend. 9:25 to go first half. 6-0 Marion on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by South Bend Orthopedics, serving as the team physician for the University of Notre Dame since 1947.
Partner, I don't know if you realize it, but fall is here. Dairy Queen Grill and Chill Restaurant in South Bend has their best fall treats ready for you. Stop by and pick up a pumpkin pie blizzard made with pumpkin pie pieces and topped with nutmeg and whipped cream. Oh, that sounds good. Stop by today, Dairy Queen. Happy tastes good.
It is 3rd and 8 for the St. Joe Indians at the Marion 41-yard line. Deepest penetration of the night for St. Joe. They have not had a first down yet. Evan Price tries to change that. He lost the football. Flag comes in. Now, was he moving his arm forward when he threw it? They pick up the flag. No flag, and it's Marion football at the 49. The ball slipped right out of Price's hand, and Marion gets its 3rd turnover of the first half. You get another look on the SBO replay. Price just came up empty as he moved the ball forward, and then it was the scram for the loose ball, and they'll give it to C.J. Naguna for the fumble recovery.
And Marion once again with pretty good field position. This is just about where they punted from when they gave up the ball last possession.
Right at the midfield stripe. Begonia throws out in the flat, has his man out there. It's Mitchell Florin, and Florin is brought down at the 43-yard line after a pickup of 7. Dan Evans on the tackle that time for St. Joe.
Pretty good play on first down, a gain of 7.
This Marion defense has been phenomenal at forcing turnovers in the first 3 weeks of the season. That's 11 for them now.
Marion's got plenty of time. Just under 9 minutes to go here in the first half. And when a game like this, conditions like this, another score would be huge.
St. Joe blitzes, and they get to Begonia in the backfield. It's no gain on the play. Zach Kennedy there for the stop. It'll be 3rd and 3. So the St. Joe defense has been really good about dialing up some blitzes at key times tonight to thwart Marion. Looking at a key 3rd and 3 here. Colin Kerr will come out of the game for Marion. One of their receivers, or at least come to the sideline. And Marion will send Eddie Murphy, the tight end, in.
Tom's Car Care in South Bend offers complete car care, including a 10-minute oil change. Get your car or truck ready for cooler months. Call today at 574-289-2121. Tom's Car Care is a proud supporter of high school sports. What they say tonight, go Indians.
Timeout sponsored by Frick's Dairy Queen. A 6-point game, well, that's nothing new when these two get together. 22 of the 58 games in this rivalry decided by 8 points or less. And as we mentioned off the top, the last 2 have been 1-point decisions. Marion won by 1 2 years ago here at Atulski Field. St. Joe won by a point last year at Father Blythe Field.
Pretty good history, and again, Father Blythe, thank you so much for verifying all those scores.
And get well soon. Father Walter Blythe nursing a hip injury right now. Now, he's had his hips replaced, but apparently the bone that holds in the metal hips suffered some damage, and so he could not be here tonight. Hopefully he is watching on our Facebook live stream, being sponsored by our friends at South Bend Orthopedics. And now a timeout taken by St. Joe, and that one is also sponsored by our friends at Frick's Dairy Queen.
Folks, for more than 50 years, Holy Cross College has educated modern-day scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples. Based in the tri-campus of Notre Dame, Indiana, Holy Cross College offers all the advantages of a Catholic, individually focused liberal arts program with the breadth and possibilities of 3 campuses. For more information, visit hcc-nd.edu/admissions or call them at 574-239-8400 Holy Cross College.
Give you a couple of score updates here. Elkhart Central has a 10-0 lead on Jimtown over at Rice Field tonight. It is Bremen on top of John Glenn, 7-6 down at beautiful Don Bungie Field. Both those teams looking for their first win. Mishawaka has a 6-0 lead on Gary West. Here it's 6-0 Marion as Maddox Begonia on 3rd and 3 tries to convert. He rolls out, fires, and has his man down at the 22. Mitchell Florin with the catch. A first down sponsored by Trek 10 and a big 21-yard hookup between Begonia and Florin.
Florin went up and made a nice catch there. Made sure he was in bounds.
But that was perhaps the best throw that we've seen Begonia make, and he made it while rolling to his left, which isn't always the easiest thing for a right-handed quarterback.
Begonia 5 out of 8 now, 51 yards here in the first half.
And he wants to throw again, under pressure. Fires, almost intercepted. All right in the hands of Connor Farrell, and he couldn't hang on.
Good coverage there by St. Joe. And folks, it's a great time to be a Marion Knight. Marion offers 32 different dual credit classes in collaboration with local colleges and universities. Students earn college credits to begin their college careers, and parents save on the cost of a college tuition. Find out more at marionhighschool.org. That's marionhs.org.
We appreciate all of you making your comments on our Facebook feed tonight. Here's the handoff to Malcolm Anderson. He tries to cut it upfield, gets to about the 15-yard line. It will set up a 3rd and 3 for Marion. The problem for the Knights, Bo Hunt, as we go down to him for Bill's Heating sideline report, you've talked about wanting to see them run the football more, and I don't disagree, but they've been a little bit inconsistent in the running game tonight, haven't they? Oh, we'll hopefully be able to hear from Bo here in a moment.
Might be a 4-down situation for Marion.
3rd and 5. Begonia breaks a couple of tackles, and he's off to the races. Touchdown, Marion. Maddox Begonia's 2nd touchdown of the night. St. Joe failed to wrap up, and Begonia made them pay. You'll get another look on the SBO replay. And Begonia has the kind of speed to break away from the field. That's exactly what he did there on a 15-yard touchdown run, and now he'll settle down the heartbeat to be the holder for Hunter Renner. The snap a little low, the kick is up, and it is good with 7:09 to go in the first half. The Marion Knights use the arm of Maddox Begonia to go down the field, then the legs to score, and they lead it 13-0 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. And the Marion touchdown sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences, 13-0 Knights.
50 yards in 6 plays for the Marion Knights on that scoring drive.
Only took 2 minutes and 12 seconds. It was set up by a fumble.
One of 3 turnovers for St. Joe here in the first half. Marion guilty of 1.
Hunter Renner's kick, sponsored by Intune DJ, sails into the end zone. John Driscoll wanted to make a play, but ran right into the referee, Steve Jovanovich. It wouldn't have mattered. He wasn't going to catch it.
Playing music is the easy part. Leading you through a smooth, trouble-free event is their specialty. You control all aspects of the reception, dress code, music selection, volume, and more. Check them out at intunedj.com to learn why a majority of their business is based on previous client referrals. That's intunedj.com.
New quarterback for the St. Joe Indians. This is Luke Leonard, who started the game tonight at tight end. Leonard was in competition for the quarterback job to begin the season. He took quarterbacking lessons from Bill Reagan, as many kids around here do, and it's Leonard who gets the call after the turnover by Price. And Leonard will run it himself and crash forward and bounce off people and get the first down of the night for the St. Joe Indians up to the 33-yard line. It's sponsored by Trek 10.
It's a nice lift off the bench, isn't it?
Leonard had some good blocking in front that time, as Zach Kennedy was able to lead the way. So Leonard, the curly-haired redhead, who is also a terrific lacrosse player, hoping to be a spark for the St. Joe team, down 13-0 here in the first half.
Leonard on 1 carry has surpassed the total offense that St. Joe had prior to that carry.
He'll keep it himself again. This time, not the same results. Miguel Ortiz was there to wrap him up. The all-conference defensive tackle makes yet another stop. Ortiz had one of the greatest high school games last year of any player in the state. Against South Bend Riley, Ortiz was credited with 8.5 sacks. That's more than you get at Bamber Superette. It's 2nd and 11.
They have a choice, don't they? Plastic or paper bag?
I think he was getting sacks of all kinds. Canvas. Here's Leonard looking to throw. It's tipped and intercepted. C.J. Naguna going down the sidelines. Touchdown, Marion. C.J. Naguna with a pick six, the 2nd of the year for the Knights, and they extend the lead to 19-0. You get another look on the SBO replay. The pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Naguna was able to get the hand on it. It looks like Mitchell Menting was the one who tipped it. And Naguna, who played his ICCL ball at Our Lady of Hungary, comes over and makes the pick. 4th turnover in the first half for St. Joe. Hunter Renner on to try the extra point. It is up. It is good. 5:45 to go in the first half, and Marion in control, leading 20-0, but apparently we have a flag. It's an illegal participation penalty on Marion.
Well, with Renner's range, it shouldn't be a big factor if he can get a clean look at it.
There you see Brian Kelly and Doctor to the Stars, Brian Radigan, down on the end zone area. Brian's son Kenzel plays for St. Joe, so the Notre Dame head coach rooting for St. Joe tonight. Can't be happy right now with the Indians still down 19-0 pending this extra point.
Got a rare Friday night off. No game tomorrow from Notre Dame. They play next Saturday at home against New Mexico.
Clean snap, as you said. Renner has no problem putting that one through. And it is 20-0 Marion. And all kinds of offensive woes for the St. Joe Indians tonight.
Well, Leonard had given him a nice little spark, and his first pass attempt on the night is tipped and intercepted.
Menting with that big left hand going up there, knocking it away, and then Naguna is able to pick it up, and there was no one between him and the end zone.
Carmi Design Group is a proud supporter of high school athletics. Now 30 years in business, Carmi Design Group continues to successfully design and manage K-12 school projects in southern Michigan and northern Indiana. Contact us if you're interested in a free introductory meeting to discuss turning your vision into reality. Visit carmi.biz for a full description of services. They say go Eddies. The Edwardsburg Eddies are their favorite team.
All right.
The folks from Carmi Design Group.
Marion with the kickoff sponsored by Intune DJ. John Driscoll will take it at his 1-yard line. Driscoll trying to make something positive happen for St. Joe here, but it won't be happening right here. They get it up to about the 26, and that's about it. That touchdown by Marion, by the way, sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences.
26 isn't great field position, partner, but it's not bad compared to what St. Joe's had to deal with here in the first half.
St. Joe has just completely lacked any spark on offense tonight. 1 first down, 4 turnovers. Luke Leonard back in there at quarterback, and let's see what he can do here.
The pass that he threw was tipped, so you can get a chance to get a good look at his arm.
He'll hand it off to John Driscoll here, and there goes Driscoll for a first down up to the 38-yard line. It's sponsored by Trek 10. That is Driscoll's longest pickup of the night. Good for 12.
And he's now got 11 positive yards on the night on 5 carries.
Driscoll has good speed. He was the sectional champion in the 200-meter run last year.
I would have been a record setter in that event, but I had stopped for directions twice.
1st and 10. We missed you.
That's what I heard.
Here's Driscoll on the run, and Isaac Hibbs says no thank you. Hibbs slings him down. They'll spot it at the 30, a loss of 7 on the play, and Hibbs has had a really good night on the defensive line tonight. You get another look from SBO replay. Hibbs, 6'1", 223, and a senior, and obviously with some strong hands as he hung on to the jersey of Driscoll and slung him around, and Driscoll is not a small individual.
Well, after the nice run on the first carry of this drive, it's now 2nd down and 17, and look out for Marion maybe sending somebody loose, see if they can put some pressure.
Asante Anglin on the carry, and C.J. Naguna stuck him right away at about the 31-yard line. Pick up about 2 on the play. Naguna, another one of the seniors on this Marion defense. It's a lot of seniors on this Marion squad this year, and that's why one reason why a lot of people expect a lot from the Knights this season. They start 8 seniors on defense.
That's why coaches love seniors. Folks, Trek 10 is a proud supporter of Marion and St. Joe Athletics. Would like to wish all athletes in tonight's game the best of luck. Trek 10, a local company with a global reputation for helping clients move to the Amazon Web Service Cloud. Find them online at trek10.com.
Now another play for St. Joe that gets thwarted as Luke Leonard was bottled up by Thomas Ewing. And Ewing gets him after a pickup of about 1 on the play. It'll be 4th down and another punting situation for St. Joe. The Marion defense has not allowed much from St. Joe tonight. In fact, the only time that St. Joe has been on the Marion side of the field is when they've created a turnover over there. Peterson getting ready to punt, but flags thrown and whistles blown before the play could get underway. And that's an offside call against Marion, so that'll help the Indians out a little bit. It'll march at 5 yards, but it'll still be 4th down.
Morning View Assisted Living, located in South Bend along the scenic St. Joseph River, provides a secure facility and specializes in dementia and Alzheimer's care. Gourmet meals prepared with fresh ingredients are served daily, and pets are welcome. Morning View Assisted Living supports youth and high school sports. They want to give a shout out to Mitchell Florin, a member of the Marion Knights, wears number 4.
Ryan Driscoll downs the Charlie Peterson punt at the 29-yard line. And that's where Marion will have it with 2:37 to go in the first half. Chance to work on their 2-minute drill with the comfort of knowing they're up by 20.
Take some chances if you want to, and we'll see if they do. Want to remind you the Teachers Credit Union understands the importance of growing your future. Whether you're growing your family, your square footage, or your business, Teachers Credit Union is here for you with financial solutions that'll help you succeed. Visit tcunet.com to start growing your future today. Federally insured by the NCUA, they are an equal housing opportunity lender.
A chance to talk to Bo Hunt after this play where Maddox Begonia is in trouble, fires a little high and out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10. But what is it about the Marion defense that's giving St. Joe so many fits tonight?
Well, it starts with the defensive line. They're really able to not get the offensive line's not able to get off their block and get to those linebackers. So the defensive line's able to stop that offensive line from getting through, getting to that secondary linebacker line, and the linebacker is able to really come up, fill those holes, and not let anything get up the middle, and really the backside as well. Any cutbacks backside, the C-gap fill is really getting filled by those linebackers because that defensive line, they're just being stout up front.
2nd and 10. Colin Kerr on the end around. The transfer from Bremen gets close to the 1st down marker and may have picked it up. And they're knocking him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. It looks like perhaps one of the St. Joe managers or coaches also took a spill over there. It's one of the chain gang, actually, that got knocked over. You'll get another look here from the SBO replay.
Well, when you're on that crew, they always tell you drop the marker and get out of the way.
He dropped the marker, but he didn't get out of the way.
Love those guys everywhere we go, the volunteers who help out with holding chains. Much needed donation of time to their respective programs.
So Kerr on his first carry of the year picks up 9 on the play. It's 3rd and 1 for Marion. Clock stops because the ball went out of bounds, and Malcolm Anderson gets a first down sponsored by Trek 10 as he works it up to the 43-yard line. Anderson, the leading ball carrier among the regulars. Things have gone so well for Marion in the first 2 games of the season, Bob, that their 3rd-string running back, Michael Murphy, is their leading ball carrier on the year entering the game tonight with 116 yards.
Gives them some pretty nice depth. I mentioned in our pregame about Tyler DeBow being a good running back, but he's doing so well on defense, and they've got some depth there now.
They've been going with a lot of one-back sets tonight. Begonia wants to throw here, rifles it down the field. He's got a man open, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Jason Johnson, but it was broken up nicely by the St. Joe defense. As Ty Kamau was able to get back there and help break it up, you get another look from SBO replay. Johnson's dad, Jay, will tell him it hit him in the hands. He should have had it, but that's easier said than done when you got 2 defensive backs closing in on you.
St. Joe's done a good job on the deep routes of having a couple of defenders back there. They're reading it well.
2nd and 10, still 1:33 to go first half. Handoff to Anderson in the backfield. He squirts through a hole, and there's nobody there. He'll win that foot race. Touchdown, Marion. 57 yards, no flags. It's sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences.
Man, he exploded through that hole.
I'm not sure anybody did lay a hand on him. I thought at first he broke a tackle, but he just hit a crease and never looked back. Anderson, who had a strong second half to the season last year for Marion, explodes for 57. Hunter Renner's extra point, sponsored by Intune DJ, is up and good. And with 1:24 to go first half, it is all Knights tonight, 27-0.
Chuck, that's still less than 100 yards rushing on the night for Marion, with about 51 yards passing. So you say, well, they got 150 yards. They're probably on the board for maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points. They've got 27 points, and has everything to do with field position that they've been able to gain in this ball game. And St. Joe, on the other hand, has not been blessed with the same. Folks, get back in the game with South Bend Orthopedics, team physicians for the University of Notre Dame since 1947.
Well, let's get you up to date on some other scores. We can tell you that Plymouth leads Warsaw 17-6 at the half. Cassopolis leads Mendon 14-0 at halftime. End of the first quarter, South Bend Washington and Kankakee Valley are scoreless. Elkhart Central now with a 17-0 lead on Jimtown in the second. Ready for the kickoff. Sponsored by Intune DJ. Hunter Renner puts the boot to it. It sails into the end zone. And again, 1st and 10 at the 20 for the St. Joe Indians. Renner now with 8 touchbacks so far on the season. And thanks to this Marion offense, he's getting a lot of practice doing the kickoff.
Boy, he is, and he's got a powerful leg.
Marion came into the game in the top 10 in the state in scoring defense and scoring offense, and they haven't done anything to hurt those stats so far. They average 50 points a game on offense. They average 3.5 points per game on defense. And then, Bob, you take a look inside the numbers. They're only giving up 74 yards rushing a game and 9.5 passing yards a game.
Pretty solid start. It's one of the reasons why the people around the state think they're the 6th best team.
Hand off to John Driscoll. He wants to get to the outside. There's not a lot of room there. Greg Atkinson forces him out of bounds, and then a late flag comes in, probably a face mask.
Either that or a horse collar. Could be their second biggest play of the night on a penalty.
And indeed, it's a personal foul face mask. It'll be signaled against Marion. First down sponsored by Trek 10.
St. Joseph High School is looking for the next class of future leaders. Whether your interest is science, service, writing, or the arts, St. Joe will set you on the path to success. With over $10 million in college scholarships awarded to recent graduates, St. Joe promises to prepare you for your future. Visit the website at stjohigh.com.
Luke Leonard trots in with the play from the sidelines. As offensive coordinator Dennis Teagarden sends in the call. Leonard keeps it himself and gets around one man, but then C.J. Naguna and the rest of the Marion defense there to hit him just a couple yards down the field. Marion really swarms to the football well.
Under a minute to go here in the first half, and we've got a very important carry coming up. That's the Mary Freebie carry.
That first half tape back to the station.
Betcha. We appreciate Mary's efforts.
Coming up at halftime, don't forget, Bob will introduce you to our TCU Student Athletes of the Week, and we'll have our St. Joe High School halftime report with all the stats and highlights from the first half. 2nd and 8. Leonard dropped it, then hands it off to Asante Anglin. And again, C.J. Naguna, boy, we've called his name a lot here in this second quarter. He makes yet another stop. And it looks like St. Joe will concede the rest of the time here in the first half and head to the locker room, trailing the Marion Knights by a count of 27-0. A very impressive first half performance by Coach Mike Davidson's Knights, especially by his defense. And he should be a happy man as he heads off the field. Gonna have to take care of the headset, and then he'll take care of talking to Bo Hunt with the Bills Heating sideline report in just a matter of seconds. 27-0 Marion. Here's Bo Hunt.
You guys started out that first half, some penalties, little things going around, but you guys ended it pretty well there.
Yeah, defensively, I like where we're at. Offensively, we got to control the line of scrimmage better, and you said it, penalties are holding us back.
Your defense is really one of the standout teams tonight and around the area. Just talk about that.
I like the way they're flying around. You play with that much energy, we got a shot.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Bill.
Back to you guys.
All right, stick around, everybody. Coming up at the half, our TCU Student Athletes of the Week, our St. Joe High School halftime report. The Marion Knights have fired all the salvos in the Holy War so far. They lead at 27-0 on 46.
Now we welcome you back to Otulski Field, where St. Joe and Marion have it going on here at halftime, and we have a chance to meet our Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by TCU. TCU reminds you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. Well, with us from Marion High School tonight is Alec Mishler. And Alec, congratulations on your great achievement, your good work in the classroom.
Thank you so much.
All righty, and over here on my right is John Driscoll. He's supposed to be a running back at St. Joe because he carries the ball almost every play. And John, first of all, congratulations on your success, certainly on the gridiron, but also in the classroom, working hard.
Thank you. It really means a lot.
What do you focus on as far as getting all your work done? When you're an athlete, obviously you're busy in the weight room in addition to regular season games, but you really have to be disciplined, don't you, about your time?
Definitely. Trying to use all my time when I have the chance in school, and then getting home, knocking everything out, and making sure I get to sleep on time.
I know, yeah, good idea. I know you haven't chosen a place where you want to play and where you want to attend, but what are you thinking about studying in college?
I was thinking about going into marketing or sociology. I really love talking to people and interaction. I think that's really something that I want to continue on with.
You had a wonderful career at St. Joe, a lot of success, and we want to congratulate you on that. Also give you a chance to give a shout out to some of those people that have meant a lot in your life.
My mom. I think she's the biggest one. My dad's family out east, even though they're not here in town, I still get all their support. My grandma, and then even though he's not with me, my dad. I think he's been a huge motivator in my life.
How about those two brothers of yours?
Yeah, they've done their part for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, having three of you to push each other, that's been a secret to success too, hasn't it?
For sure. I think it's really developed our competitive edge growing up.
Well, congratulations, John, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, John Driscoll from St. Joseph High School, our student athlete of the week. And now we're going to talk to Alec Mishler. And Alec is a guy who's been involved in a few things at Marion High School, wrestling at one time, but really a standout in the football team. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Talk about how you handle the responsibilities that you have in the classroom and also on the gridiron, because you've been just an exceptional student here at Marion.
It just takes place going home, doing the homework, making sure you get sleep on time, like Driscoll said, and then make sure you come out and turn practice and put that grind in.
I know you want to compete at the next level, and we should have an opportunity to do that. Where do you want to study, and have you picked a place you want to go?
I think about going to Purdue Fort Wayne to go look at a double major in accounting and finance. Kind of done playing with football now after the experience here, but I'm ready to go into college and make my grind there.
Well, I don't blame you for that. You're going to have a lot of success. Talk about your support team, the people behind you to help you be successful.
Definitely my mom and my dad. They've always been pushing me to make sure I'm keeping my stuff going on in school and still working in football. And then I just like to shout out my grandparents and always being there and pushing me to help me keep going in the classroom and especially on the football field.
Well, you guys are out to a great start this season. Congratulations on your contribution.
Thank you so much.
All right, Alec Mishler from Marion High School, our student athlete of the week, and John Driscoll from St. Joseph High School, representing their schools so well. And we want to thank the folks from TCU. They remind you to go online at tcunet.com and find out how you can become a member today. We've got some halftime stats and highlights coming up in just a moment. You're watching the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our communities brighter. Halftime here at Atulski Field in Mishawaka, and the Marion Knights lead the Holy War with St. Joe by a count of 27-0. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high atop the fray, and partner, you cannot use enough superlatives to describe that Marion performance in the first half.
Boy, especially on defense. Now, offense was very opportunistic, and the defense actually scored a touchdown. But just give Marion credit. You know, one of the big things in this game so far has been field position, and they're responsible for that as well, because the opening kickoff went out to the 40, and that really got things rolling. And even with the turnovers back and forth, it moved into St. Joe territory. They had to score from the 20-yard line to get their first score, which they did, and then they had good field position the rest of the half, and St. Joe had to look up every time. They need 80 yards.
Let's show you how it got to be this way here at Atulski Field tonight, because the Marion Knights came out firing the first turnover of the night as Patrick Driscoll came up with the interception. Brian Witten liked that. Wouldn't like too much else about the first half. Eddie Murphy takes it down to the 1-yard line. Then Maddox Begonia takes it on in for the score. 6-0 after the extra point failed. Another St. Joe turnover. This one recovered by Anthony Roberts. As the big nose tackle gets on the loose change, Maddox Begonia would make them pay, dancing his way 13 yards to the end zone for the score. 13-0 Marion at that point. Luke Leonard throws. It's tipped by Mitchell Menting into the waiting hands of C.J. Naguna. He'll take it the distance for the score. 20-0 Marion at that point. And then Malcolm Anderson, right down the middle of the defense, 57 yards for the score. All Marion in the first half, and it'll show in the stat column as well.
It really does. And you look at the rushing yards in the first half. 25 for St. Joe, 17 of those belonged to Leonard, who didn't come in until late in the second quarter. And Marion ran for 102 yards. They threw for 86. Pretty good balance. And again, the total yards a big factor here. Penalties, a little bit of a nuisance for the Marion Knights and for St. Joe. Turnovers, 4 for the Indians, 1 for the Knights, and I got a feeling the time of possession about even. But when you look at the amount of turnovers in the ball game like that, if you go back in the history of this great series between St. Joe and Marion. The team that loses the turnover battle probably lost most of the games.
When you have more turnovers than first downs, you're in trouble. St. Joe's in trouble. They're down 27-0. This has been the St. Joe High School Halftime Report. Second half play-by-play from Metulski Field comes your way after this on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT, where quality is a way of life. We're back in Mishawaka for second half action. The rain has intensified, but Bo Hunt doesn't care. He's down there on the sidelines and gives us Bill's Heating sideline report. Did you have a chance to talk to Brian Witten of St. Joe at the half?
Yeah, I definitely got a chance to talk to him, talking about adjustments or anything that he needed to do. And he goes, plain and simple, we cannot turn the ball over as many times as we did. We have to hold on to the ball. We have to take better care of it. He goes, offensively, we're just not getting in sync. And he said, I asked him about quarterback situation. He goes, yeah, we're definitely going with Leonard in the second half. Guys?
All right, good to know. Luke Leonard will get the start in the second half for St. Joe. And they will start the second half receiving the kickoff. Down 27-zip, and Bob, I would think at this point, if you're St. Joe, I don't want to say tonight is a lost cause, but I don't think you're getting 28 on this Marion defense, but you want to try to establish something on offense right now.
Well, and I don't think there's any question that one of the problems that St. Joe's had offensively tonight is the guy they were counting on to be their quarterback, Matt Eck, was not able to play. Now, he may be able to play next week, but you got a chance to get Leonard some snaps and get him some work, and you're going to need, obviously, the depth, but you might need him next week as your starter.
Well, and the other problem for St. Joe is the fact they play in the NIC North, and the NIC North is loaded. They got to go to New Prairie next week and take on the Cougars, who are known as a very physical team and very explosive offensively. And you take a look at the rest of the NIC North with teams like Elkhart Central and Penn and Adams, you're going to face some pretty good offenses. Hunter Renner gets ready to put it on the tee. The third quarter sponsored by Marion High School. This kickoff sponsored by Intune DJ rolls into the end zone for the touchback. A familiar refrain for the St. Joe Indians. They'll start deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 at the 20.
St. Joe's best field position in that first half was that last possession when they took over at their own 20-yard line. I mean, they were in negative territory almost from the outset in that first half.
So Luke Leonard waiting to get the play over on the sideline. His team waiting to see what they can do for him. And that Marion defense has to be standing there at the defensive line with a ton of confidence, holding St. Joe to a mere 32 yards of total offense in the first half.
If anybody has any question about Marion's head coach, Mike Davidson, he loves good defense.
Leonard hands it off. A nice cut that time by Asante Anglin, and he's able to get about 5 yards on the pickup before Gavin Stefanik brings him down. Stefanik, a transfer from St. Joe to Marion. He blocked a punt for a touchdown in the game against Concord last year for the Indians. This year he's playing for the Marion Knights. 2nd and 5.
Well, when your defense is really stout as Marion's is this year, you got time for a young quarterback like Maddox Bagunia to get some experience, and again, they've got a quality offensive attack.
The lights now taking full effect here at Atulski Field as Leonard hands it off to John Driscoll, but Driscoll had to dance sideways before he could go forward. Gets up to about the 27-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3. All kinds of jerseys down on the field that time for Marion. Michael Schaefer, the defensive back, leading the way on the tackle that time.
6 carries for 6 yards tonight for Driscoll. Do you think Marion's been focusing on number 2?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, that has to be the focus for anybody that plays St. Joe, and that's the thing. St. Joe has to develop some other threats to take the pressure off of Driscoll. Last year, they had Ashton Roszkowski at quarterback. Well, he's now at Valparaiso University, and clearly you can tell it from here tonight. The quarterback play has gone downhill, and then you don't help yourself with a penalty like that either. A false start against St. Joe will cost them 5 yards.
You know, Chuck, one of the things you mentioned in our pregame was that Driscoll's their leading receiver. And we haven't seen much in the way of getting the ball to Driscoll tonight. So we might see St. Joe try to take advantage of that opportunity, because once Driscoll gets in the open field, he is awful tough to bring down.
He came into the game tonight with 20 catches, high in the state of Indiana. And I don't think he's caught one tonight. He's going to try to run the ball here for a first down, but Greg Atkinson throws him out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Driscoll falls right on his fanny. Mike Davidson trying to get a face mask penalty against Driscoll, and it may well have been warranted. And now Driscoll, who kind of fell backwards on that play, looks very ginger as he comes off the field. And that would be a huge blow for the St. Joe offense. Seems to be favoring his ankle a little bit on the left side. You get another look here on the SBO replay, and when he plants the foot, one went out from under him and the other folded up underneath him, and I think that was the problem. Meanwhile, Charlie Peterson sends an end-over-end kick downfield. It's taken at the 43-yard line by Greg Atkinson, and his second good punt return of the night goes into Indian territory at the 41-yard line. You don't hear a lot about great special teams play, but boy, Marion has had it in spades this evening.
It seems like a lot of people jumping in on the happy returns that they're getting offensively and defensively, and the Knights set up once again in St. Joe territory.
And there you see John Driscoll having to be helped to the bench, and that's not a good sign at all for the St. Joe Indians. As though it needed to get worse for the Tribe. They're down 27-0. Here's a handoff in the backfield. Malcolm Anderson, flag comes in on the play. I think you've got a hold here on Marion.
Andrew Weiss is your Knights of Columbus insurance representative. Knights of Columbus offer faith-based insurance and retirement planning. Discover the Catholic difference. Call today at 574-272-6929 or online at andrewweisskfc.com.
Oh, it's a face mask call against St. Joe, and that'll tack some yardage onto the end of the run and be a first down for Marion. We'll see if we can pick it up here as Malcolm Anderson. There's the face mask by Kenzel Kelly. And so Trek 10 sponsors the Marion first down. Anderson was able to take the ball down to the 34, and the extra 5 will take it to the 29-yard line. Begonia throws out in the flat. The pass completed out there to Mitchell Florin, and Florin weaving his way through traffic to the end zone. Touchdown, Marion. Mitchell Florin with his second touchdown catch of the year. This one a 29-yard strike from Maddox Begonia, and it is now 33-0 Marion. You get another look on the SBO replay. One broken tackle was all Florin needed. The wrestler and theater star took it on in for the score.
Boy, just a messy start to this third quarter for St. Joe with the penalty, and then giving up 6 more.
Hunter Renner's extra point, sponsored by Intune DJ. The touchdown sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences. 9:36 to go, third quarter. Florin and the Knights lead at 34-zip on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known, but locally owned. Chuck Freeby, Bob Nagel, Bo Hunt back with you from Atulski Field in Mishawaka. You take a look at Mitchell Florin, the latest Marion Knight to find the end zone. Good solid drive by Marion, set up by the punt return by Greg Atkinson. So it'll be Hunter Renner putting the ball on the tee. The kickoff sponsored by our friends at Intune DJ. Tell you what, we will see some pretty good kickers this year. Renner, one of them. He was an all-stater last year in 3A. And anxious to see Harrison Mevis when we have Warsaw later in the year. Kickoff goes hurtling to the goal line. Asante Anglin will take it there. Anglin, who has good speed, takes it up the field all the way up to the 27-yard line. And another St. Joe player is injured on the field and laying motionless at the 21-yard line. That's Connor Farrell, and he's holding his right knee.
As if it couldn't get any worse for the St. Joe Indians.
Unfortunately, an injury does give us a dead ball and a chance to hear from some of our sponsors.
And we want to thank Trademark Irrigation. They're your full-service lawn sprinkler company. They take great pride in providing high-quality work and customer satisfaction. They can help with residential or commercial needs, so give them a call today at 574-251-1520 or find them online at trademarkirrigation.com. They want to give a shout out to the Driscoll brothers from the folks at Trademark Irrigation. You know, Chuck, one of the things you got to worry about with your yard sprinklers, and I know it's only September, but a couple months down the road, you got to blow out those lines and get it ready for winter time. So keep in mind, call Trademark Irrigation, 251-1520.
Well, as Connor Farrell leaves the field of play, we'll remind you we've got more high school football next week. We'll go into the Northern Lakes Conference. The Northridge Raiders, Tom Wogelman's team, has the lead at halftime. They could be 3-0 heading down to the Rock in Plymouth, where John Barron's team try to beat its arch rival Warsaw tonight. Will they have any emotion left in the tank when the Raiders come to town? Well, more than likely, but we'll find out ourselves as we head down to Marshall County, see if they got any blueberry donuts left over. Friday night at 11, Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports, TV 46. Luke Leonard at the helm for St. Joe. Gives it to Asante Anglin, and Anglin, who will now be the bell cow of this offense with John Driscoll on the bench, gets tackled by Eddie Murphy. Marion trying to say that the ball came out. Murphy holding the football, gives it back to the ref after a pickup of 7 on the play for Anglin, and the rain really starting to come down now here in Mishawaka. Let's see if Murphy had a point. He pulled at the ball. Now, what you can't hear there is, did the whistle blow already? And it likely did by the time Murphy pulled the ball out.
6-7 guys involved in the tackle again from Marion. Boy, they are really flying to the football.
2nd and 2. Leonard gives it to Anglin again. He's got a first down, sponsored by Trek 10. Up to the 38-yard line. Then a late flag comes in at the end of the play. And we'll see what this is all about.
Anglin now with 22 yards on the night. He's the leading ball carrier for St. Joe so far.
That's a personal foul and a face mask against Marion. That'll cost him 15 yards, and that'll march the ball into Marion territory to the 47-yard line.
Marion now with 50 yards in penalties. It's one of the things that Mike Davidson wanted his team to curtail a little bit this week. But hey, we want to thank the folks at Hacienda Mexican Restaurants for supporting high school athletics. It's football season. Hacienda is a great place to watch any game. Bring your friends for their famous ranch and wet burritos. Hacienda's 100 Center has been serving the community for over 40 years and wants to thank you for your continued support. Just approaching 8 million pounds of salty chips and salsa.
Flag thrown on the play. Patrick Driscoll lined up about a yard offside, so they call an illegal procedure, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty. Bob, this 3A poll, now we saw Bishop Chatard last week, and I think they could be number 1 in a lot of classes higher than 3A. But it is loaded in 3A this year. Marion at number 6, and then John Hendricks and the folks down in Stark County say, hey, Knox Redskins, don't forget about us. We got a pretty good football team, too. They're taking on Culver tonight. John Underly on the carry that time for St. Joe, and he had nowhere to go. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 15.
Marion's defense putting up a wall right around midfield. St. Joe can get out to midfield, but they're not going any farther. According to the Knights, they got a good stop there on Underley.
2nd and 15. Let's see if Leonard's got something in the passing game here for St. Joe. Remember, Driscoll, who left the game with the injury, not only the leading ball carrier, but the leading receiver on this St. Joe team. So they'll hand it off up the middle. And that's John Driscoll back in the game. Good to see that. He's tackled by Gavin Stefanik at about the 43-yard line. But boy, that surprised me after the way he hobbled off the field. He sure showed no ill effects right there. And watch Driscoll on the carry.
Pretty good execution there by St. Joe on that running play. Good timing.
And that's something that the really good St. Joe teams have been built on over the years, is the play of that group that they call the White Dogs up front. And that offensive line has been stymied most of the night tonight by a very good Marion defensive line. 3rd and 6. Driscoll again cuts it up the field. This time Tyler DeBow is waiting for him. Miguel Ortiz helped finish him off. No gain on the play. It'll be 4th down, and we'll see how Brian Witten decides to play it here inside Marion territory at the 42.
Folks, for 60 years, Engineering Finishing Technologies has been the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. They set the standard for industries, including automotive, medical, aerospace, military, and defense. Go to iftworldwide.com for more information. IFT has earned national accreditation and worldwide respect. And like the teams in tonight's game, we're working for a great finish.
Charlie Peterson does the kicking. It's sponsored by Trademark Irrigation. Low line drive kick that'll roll inside the 10, onside the 5, all the way down to the 2. Terrific punt by Peterson. We've got an injured St. Joe player down on the field. It's Kenzel Kelly. I think he's got a cramp. He's really hobbling on that left leg. Brian Witten, the head coach, out to help him off the field.
Kelly's become a real quality lineman for St. Joe. Listed as an offensive and defensive lineman, but defensively made a lot of good plays for St. Joe. Remember last year's game, he was a big factor in that one.
So Marion, with its worst field position by far of the night, pinned back to its own 2-yard line, and that's where Maddox, Begonia, and Company will take over with a 34-0 lead and 5:36 to go, 3rd quarter. Remember, the running clock rule does not come into effect in Indiana high school football or in high school football until a 35-point advantage. And now we've got a timeout called by St. Joe. It's sponsored by Frick's Dairy Queen. 5:36 to go, 3rd quarter. 34-0 Marion on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning, serving people and businesses since 1951. Rainy night in Mishawaka, the Princess City, though, alive for this 59th edition of the Holy War. It's been one of the more one-sided editions, with Marion leading it by a count of 34-0.
I want to give a shout out to my friends from the Mishawaka Alumni Association. Had a chance to lunch with them this past week and bring up some great memories of past teams at Mishawaka and other schools around the area.
Maddox Begonia goes right up the middle on the quarterback sneak for about 4 yards. Evan Lindsay there to make the stop. The 6'4", 240-pound senior.
43 yards tonight for Begonia.
2 touchdown runs. That's been impressive too. Some confusion on personnel. Eddie Murphy was running off the field. Now he runs back. Still plenty of time on the play clock. 2nd and 6. Handoff to Malcolm Anderson. Malcolm Anderson, look out. He gets all the way down to the 22-yard line, and a 1st down sponsored by Trek 10.
Another 16-yard carry.
Anderson starting to pile up the numbers. He had a big game against John Glenn last week with 125 yards rushing.
Got 79 tonight. And I got a feeling with that clock saying 4:40 to go third quarter, Marion up 34-0. They're going to be running the ball a lot right here.
The only question will be, will it be Anderson or one of his backups? It's Anderson here, and he's got room to run. He is dangerous, folks. Look out. Anderson turns it inside, takes a licking and keeps on ticking, and finally gets down to the 38-yard line.
51 yards.
Pick up a 40 on the play. 40-yard pickup for Malcolm Anderson. You get another look from SBO. Some great blocking up front that time. Trace Walter led the charge. And then nobody wrapped him up.
It's another 100-yard game.
Hunter Jackson finally there to make the tackle for St. Joe. And Anderson comes out. Tyler DeBow comes in at running back. Begonia keeps it himself. Begonia weaving his way through traffic before Lindsay brings him down at the 28-yard line, 29-yard line. Pickup of 9 on the play. Begonia seems like the ideal guy to run this Marion offense, Bob. He's mobile, so you can run it with him, but he's got a solid enough arm. I like the completion percentage he's put up this year.
He's also been a good athlete, member of the basketball team for Rob Berger, and had some good minutes coming off the bench last year. Should be a key player on that team this year.
Here's Tyler DeBow on his first carry of the night. Gets a first down sponsored by Trek 10. I can't help it. I see Maddox Begonia at practice this week with, I'm going to say it, the skinny calves that he has. And I think of Devin Kennedy when he was the quarterback for Marion a few years ago.
Devin Kennedy was a terrific athlete.
Of course, Devin went on to play basketball at Princeton. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. St. Joe showing blitz. Begonia rolls out of trouble, looks to throw, heaves it away, and the closest man to it was Bo Hunt.
And Bo could have had that, but it's kind of wet tonight, so he didn't even try. St. Joe put about 9 guys in the box that time, figuring as we did that Marion would want to run the ball the rest of the night, but Begonia looked like maybe he audible to the pass play.
Well, we got a player down on the field, Bob, so while they tend to him, why don't we hear from one of our sponsors?
Why don't we do that? I want to thank St. Andrews Products. They've joined our team with the finest in promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and apparel. Call them at 800-628-9922 or visit their email address at sales@standrewscorp.com. It's sales@standrewscorp.com. Your expectations become our standards, and our answer is always yes. Now, what's the question?
We've got a college football doubleheader for you Saturday on Pulse FM on 92.1 and 96.9 at noon. The Vanderbilt Commodores come up to Ross-Ade Stadium, take on former Marion star Xander Horvath and the Purdue Boilermakers. That's followed at 3:30 on 103.1 FM by Eastern Illinois and Indiana. Big Ten action comes your way on the Family Broadcasting Corporation stations. 2nd and 10 for Marion. It is Murphy up the middle. And that would be Michael Murphy on the carry. He came into the game as the leading ground gainer for this Marion team this year, and he picks up a first down. It's sponsored by Trek 10. So Begonia and the Knights have it 1st and 10 at the St. Joe 16. See the clock, bottom right-hand corner of your screen on our 46 scoreboard. Murphy still in the game. Begonia, the play fake, the throw, and it is into the end zone, but incomplete.
A little bit underthrown that time.
He was trying to get that one to Kyrell Franklin, but just short hopped him a little bit. You'll get another look here from South Bend Orthopedics. It was a low ball. Franklin trying to make the play, but it was a little bit behind him as well.
5 out of 13 passing tonight for Begonia.
Begonia will hand it off to Murphy again. Murphy working his way up the field, banging into tacklers, still on his feet. Finally, Blake Walker is able to drag him down at the 10-yard line. That'll set up 3rd down and about 7. Murphy, not a very big kid at all. 5'9", 158 pounds, and a sophomore. Mike Davidson, I'm sure, will have him coming into the weight room a lot in the offseason.
There you go.
But Marion will have all of its backfield coming back next year. Begonia, Anderson, and Murphy. Begonia throws out in the flat. A lonely Mitchell Florin will take it in for another Marion touchdown. Florin with his 2nd touchdown catch of the night. There was nobody near him when he caught the football. And it's 40-0 Knights, and the running clock will be invoked.
And it's running right now, pardon.
There's no need for them to wait. It's a fait accompli. Once the score gets to 35 or more, the clock is running. The only time it stops is for the end of the quarter or a change in possession. The snap a little high. Hunter Renner's kick is up and good. For the 3rd straight week, the Marion Knights will play with a running clock, as they now have a 41-0 lead on their arch rivals, the St. Joe Indians. You get another look. This is a busted assignment because there's no way anybody should be that wide open.
Well, St. Joe was thinking like we were, that Marion is going to run the ball the rest of the night. And when Florin split out, nobody went with him.
So Florin with his 2nd touchdown catch of the night. And the biggest problem we might have is figuring out our player of the game in this one.
Been a lot of heroes for Marion. Really important for St. Joe now, based on the rest of the season and how you react. You just can't mail it in from this point on. You got to continue to play, and they've had some injuries and conditions aren't great, but St. Joe's always had that determined spirit. We'll see what happens the rest of the way.
The touchdown sponsored by Morning View Assisted Living Residences. The kickoff by In-Tune DJ. John Driscoll takes it at the goal line. Driscoll trying to weave his way upfield. He is thrown down hard at the 12-yard line, and Driscoll laying flat on his stomach. He appears to be hurt.
Manhandled out there by the Knights.
The clock will expire to end the 3rd quarter, and the Marion Knights in full control of this one. They lead it 41-0 on TV 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, partnering with TV 46 for 30 years. We send it downstairs for a Bills Heating Sideline Report. But we've seen a lot of good teams this year. Chittard, Edwardsburg, Elkhart Central, and Marion. Maybe it's unfair, but how would you rank those 4?
I think it's very hard to rank them compared to who they're playing in different situations. I mean, this Marion team, definitely a good team. How good are they? How do they compare to Chittard? How do they compare to Central? you know, they got some very good talent out there. We talked about the eye test, one of the biggest things when we first walk on the field. Look at some of the guys, do they pass the eye test? They definitely pass the eye test. They got some athletes out there, guys that have some definitely athletic ability and some big guys up front. I really like what the defensive line and offensive line for this team can do. It always starts right up front, what those guys, the hosses up front can do for you. You can really, if you got some speed and some talent in the backfield, you can really do a lot of damage, guys.
See, I know better than to ask Nagel how he would rank him because he put Marion #1 every single time.
Chittard was very, very impressive against a very solid fundamental team in Northwood.
Here's Luke Leonard throwing, and the pass is caught. Now, remember, we've got a running clock here in the 4th quarter. So even on first downs and the ball getting out of bounds, it's Asante Anglin with the catch. Setafanto Seti makes the reception.
First completion of the night. Folks, McDonald Physical Therapy understands that you need less pain, more movement, and better health. They offer the area's top physical therapists and most up-to-date technology, water therapy, and other cutting-edge treatment. Make sure you get high-quality care that you deserve. McDonald's Physical Therapy is a proud supporter of high school sports. Wishes all the athletes in tonight's game the best of luck.
Luke Leonard picks up his own fumble and takes it upfield to the 25-yard line. It'll be a 4th down and a punting situation here for St. Joe. Charlie Peterson does the kicking for the Indians.
He's been a little bit busy tonight as well.
Yeah, and his kick is sponsored by Trademark Irrigation.
Bubb Funeral Chapel is here for you and your family when you need them most. They wish the athletes in tonight's game lots of good luck. The folks from Bubb Funeral Chapel, call them at 255-3126.
Well, that'll help a punting average there when nobody's back to get it. 49-yard punt by Peterson, no return. Marion will take over 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line. And I think we've got a new quarterback coming into the game here. It'll be Gabe Kerr, who is now the backup quarterback. He had been the JV quarterback.
We'll get a look at what he brings. I know what they bring over at Frick's Dairy Queen. It's that time of year, and fall is here, and Dairy Queen Grill and Chill Restaurant in South Bend has their best fall treats ready for you. Stop by and pick up a pumpkin pie blizzard made with pumpkin pie pieces and topped with nutmeg and whipped cream. Stop by today. Dairy Queen. Happy tastes good.
How dare you tell me that when I'm on a diet, man?
Oh, man. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds delicious. 1st and 10 from the 25 as Kerr takes his first varsity snap and hands it off. And that'll be about a 5-yard pickup for the Marion running game, which has been impressive again tonight, as that time they gave it off to Michael Murphy.
Tom's Car Care in South Bend offers complete car care, including a 10-minute oil change. Get your car or truck ready for cooler months. Call them today, 574-289-2121. Tom's Car Care is a proud supporter of high school sports. Particularly tonight, they say go Indians.
When you go in there, ask for Dennis. If he's not working, it's because Christine gave him the day off. Here's Kerr on the carry. He goes forward for about 3 yards, and another Indian slow to get up. It's Connor Farrell again. And Farrell will go off the field as well under his own power, as Marion's looking at a 3rd and 2.
You know, Chuck, you mentioned earlier whether or not Plymouth would have enough juice left to be ready to go next week in our game of the week and against Northridge. And you know what? If you're a member of the Northern Lakes Conference, you better have a lot of juice. That's a tough assignment this year.
As is the NIC with some good teams, including this Marion squad. Murphy unable to get the first down that time. Cole Curzan comes in from his linebacker spot to make the stop. It'll be 4th down. Punting time for Hunter Renner and the Knights. The punt sponsored by Intune DJ.
It's a great time to be a Marion Knight. Marion offers 32 different dual credit classes in collaboration with local colleges and universities. Students earn college credits to begin their college careers, and parents save on the cost of college tuition. Find out more at marionhs.org. That's marionhs.org.
Low snap to Renner. He handles it this time and manages to get off a pretty nice boot. It'll roll down inside the 30 to the 28. That's where the Indians will take over with 7:18 and counting to play.
And what do you know? Bad field position for St. Joe.
Yeah, no kidding.
For more than 50 years, Holy Cross College has educated modern-day scholars, citizens, leaders, and disciples. Based in the tri-campus of Notre Dame, Indiana, Holy Cross College offers all the advantages of a Catholic, individually focused liberal arts program with the breadth and possibilities of 3 campuses. For more information, visit the website hcc-nd.edu/admissions or give them a call at 574-239-8400. That's Holy Cross College.
Rochester a winner over Whitko tonight, 21-7. And Bo, in case you were wondering if Chittard would have any problems with Roncalli tonight, they're going to the 4th. It's 46-7 Chittard. It doesn't matter if they're playing anybody from north, south, east, or west. Luke Leonard will heave this one out there, and it is almost intercepted. Brady Hoskins almost came up with that one for the Marion Knights.
Trek 10 is a proud supporter of Marion and St. Joe Athletics and would like to wish all the athletes in tonight's game the best of luck. Trek 10, a local company with a global reputation for helping clients move to the Amazon Web Services cloud. Find them online at trek10.com.
2nd and 10 for St. Joe. Under 6 minutes to go. Midway in the 4th quarter. Running clock here with Marion on top 41-0. Luke Leonard took over at quarterback in the 2nd quarter after turnover problems for Evan Price, and it's Leonard on the carry this time. He's taken down that time by Henry Melberg, the freshman linebacker.
Morning View Assisted Living, located in South Bend along the scenic St. Joseph River, provides a secure facility and specializes in dementia and Alzheimer's care. Gourmet meals prepared with fresh ingredients to serve daily, and pets are welcome. Morning View Assisted Living supports our youth and high school sports, and they want to give a special shout out to Mitchell Florin, who's had a great night tonight with a couple of touchdowns for the Marion Knights.
Leonard on the carry, thrown down at the line of scrimmage. Stefano Setti comes over and makes the stop. By the way, down in Warsaw, Plymouth with a 24-19 lead on the Tigers with 5:10 left.
Wow. Gonna have a good one next week with Northridge and Plymouth. Folks, playing music is the easy part. Leading you through a smooth, trouble-free event is their specialty. You control all aspects of your reception, dress code, music selection, volume, and more. Check them out at intunedj.com and learn why a majority of their business is based on previous client referrals. That's intunedj.com.
Charlie Peterson with a 55-yard punt inside the 10 to the 9. That's where Marion will take over with 4:08 and counting to go in the contest.
Carmi Design Group is a proud supporter of high school athletics, now 30 years in business. Carmi Design Group continues to successfully design and manage K-12 school projects in southern Michigan and northern Indiana. Contact us if you're interested in a free introductory meeting to discuss turning your vision into reality. Call carmi.biz, that's CARMI.biz, B-I-Z, for a full description of services. They're big fans of the Edwardsburg Eddies there at Carmine Design Group.
Edwardsburg pounding that Seago tonight. Kevin Bartz's team rolling through Michigan yet again. They're 2-0 so far this season. Here's the snap and a handoff in the backfield. And a good stop on the ball carrier that time, as it was Caleb Lusanga on the carry, and John Underley coming up to make the tackle for St. Joe.
Partner, you're getting into my part of the game when I was at Marion. You loved it when the PA announcer would go through the trouble of finding the names of all the people who are getting in with clean jerseys.
Well, that's what helps make them identifiable, is the fact that they have some clean jerseys on. Gabe Kerr, quarterback, will keep it himself on a bootleg. Kerr trying to serpentine through the Indian defense. Finally brought down by Connor Farrell up around the 15-yard line.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to the Marion High School class of 1969. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary and graduation. You're going to have some gatherings here at Marion and around the area. And boy, that's hard to believe. 50 years already. The class of '69. My sister Ann was a member of that class.
There was a flag on the play, an illegal procedure called against the Knights. So instead of Kerr getting credit for that run, the ball is spotted back at the 4-yard line, 3-yard line actually, and it's 2nd and 16. But all that is rather moot at this point because the Marion Knights are going to walk out of here with one of their biggest wins ever over the St. Joe Indians. A 41-0 triumph. Kerr is able to keep it that time, take it up to about the 7-yard line. Cole Curzan in on the stop for St. Joe. But this is a Marion team that's going to make some noise in the NIC South. We'll see them again in 2 weeks over at Jimtown, taking on the Jimmies over at the newly named Bill Sharp Stadium.
I'll tell you one thing, the clock seems to be flying by here in the 4th quarter without stopping it. How about Marion? 51 points, 49 points, 41 tonight against a quality opponent, the St. Joe Indians.
141 in the first 3 weeks of the season. They'll be tested next week. They take on the Riley Wildcats, Jarvis Edison's team, trying to go to 3-0 tonight as they take on South Bend Adams. There's another carry. I believe that's Lusanga again on the carry for Marion. And that may well be the final play of the game. The play clock has not started yet. This one is going to get down. Nope, they're going to have to get the ball out of there. They're going to have to kick it away.
Well, we've had a lot of punting yardage tonight.
And this punt sponsored by Intune DJ. We might as well get one last mention out of them before this one ends. Hunter Renner with a punter's dream here. He's got a chance to get about a 90-yard punt if he'd like.
You got a bad field position to have that chance.
Play clock ticking down. Marion trying to drain as much as they can here. And actually, they're not going to make Renner punt it. They're just going to take the last 2 seconds off the clock and call it a night. The Holy War goes to the Marion Knights. They have defeated the St. Joe Indians by the final score of 41-0. When we come back, we'll have our trademark irrigation postgame show. It comes your way next on the 46 Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Game of the Week. Brought to you by
Back at Atulski Field, many of the Marion fans still celebrating in this Holy War, and why wouldn't they? They had a 41-0 beatdown of the St. Joe Indians tonight. Marion down 3-0, St. Joe 0-3 on the year. Chuck Freeby and Bob Nagel high above the fray on the Trademark Irrigation postgame show. Marion is about the 4th football team we've seen this year where you come away and you say, man, that's an impressive football team. And it was unfair for me to ask Bo to rank him because I wouldn't want to rank him. That Chittard, Elkhart Central, Edwardsburg, Marion, they're all really, really good.
And if this was the old days where the clock didn't continually run in the 4th quarter, Marion might have hit another 50-pointer tonight. It could have happened.
Yep.
The thing is, the domination came on the defensive side. They held St. Joe to 44 yards. And again, St. Joe suffered a couple of injuries. Their starting quarterback wasn't available tonight. They don't want any excuses. They just want to get better, and they've got an opportunity to do that against a real tough schedule coming up. So good week for St. Joe to continue to take the positives you can find out of a game like this. And they did stop Marion a few times. Marion had about 800 yards in punting tonight, but so did St. Joe certainly. And I tell you what, Marion was very opportunistic. Defense scored a touchdown. They threw for a couple. They ran for a couple. It was a complete domination, and that's so rare in this series.
Well, in fact, for the season, Marion's defense has scored 12 points. They've only given up 6. So kudos to the Marion defense, and as we continue those kudos, we might as well do it with our IU South Bend Fulfilling the Promise player of the game. He's standing by now with Bo Hunt.
Standing by with our player of the game, Miguel Ortiz. Miguel, first off, man, what a great victory it is against the St. Joe team, 41-0.
Yeah, it means a lot. You know, last year we lost 7-6. Their offense is pretty good, so we know we had to stop John running. he's a pretty hard runner, so we just had to get the players to the ball.
You play both ways, defensive line, offensive line. First off, let's talk about this defense, state-ranked defense, holding opponents under 3 points a game. Just talk about how fierce this defense is.
You know, we have a lot of returners, so that's a big help. But most of all, like, we have younger guys stepping up, and I mean, they're not scared to play, and we're ready to play anyone.
Offense averaging almost 50 points a game. Just talk about how nice it is with an offense putting up that many points as well.
It means a lot. I mean, like, our offensive line started off pretty bad. Now we're getting better. We're coming out as a unit, and we're ready to kick it.
I know you guys got Riley next week, and what are your thoughts of moving forward this week?
It was a pretty close game last year, but we're really hoping to come and beat them.
Congratulations on being our player of the game.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bo. And Bob, the defense also got the job done for our electrical workers, Local 153. Electrifying play of the game. St. Joe had already had turnover problems. They made a change at quarterback, but Luke Leonard didn't fare any better as his pass is tipped by Mitchell Menting into the waiting arms of C.J. Naguna.
Well, and Naguna made a nice return on this, got some help along the sidelines, but the ball was tipped, and when it's tipped, it's a free one to go after, and the Knights did that, and again, took it all the way to the house. So it was a good opportunity and certainly an electrifying play at that point of the game for the Marion Knights.
You could say that the Marion defense swarmed like moths to a light here at Tulski Field tonight, as that's a little problem that we have to deal with in the press box occasionally. Nevertheless, for Marion, 3-0, big game with Riley next week, as Bo alluded to in his interview with Miguel Ortiz. And it doesn't get any easier for St. Joe. They've got to go to New Prairie and take on the third-ranked team in 4A. You take a look at that schedule that St. Joe has played. Yes, they're 0-3. The three teams they've played are going to be 9-0 by the end of the night.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's such a good year here in Northern Indiana. We've got a lot of teams ranked in all the classes, and it's going to be fun to watch how it comes down, not only in the state rankings, but certainly in the conference battles as well. And big one tonight with Northridge getting a win, and we'll get a chance to see them next week against Plymouth.
Wasn't it nice to have him back, folks? It's nice to have him back.
It was great to be back. Thank you all.
All right, now, next week, don't forget we go down to Marshall County and check out Northern Lakes Conference action. But first, we want to thank our TV46 crew who helped bring you this one, the bubbly one, Tony Beltran, joined by new people, Dan Ballmer, filling in on audio tonight, doing a real nice job. And always good to have the crazy one, Dean Korsmo, back there doing the replays. A reminder, college football on the radio tomorrow on Pulse FM. It's a doubleheader, Vanderbilt and Purdue at noon. Eastern Illinois takes on Indiana at 3:30. And next Friday night, down in the Northern Lakes Conference, undefeated Northridge takes on a Plymouth team that managed to hold off Warsaw tonight 24-19. So the 3-0 Raiders take on the 2-1 Plymouth Rockies. Don't forget, the 46 Film Room comes your way on social media every Wednesday. Now for my Hall of Fame partners, Bob Nagel and Bo Hunt, it's Chuck Freeby. Once again, the final, Marion 41, St. Joe nothing. So long from the Princess City.